Welcome to Learning Life Content. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories. India and China, two of the world's oldest and most enduring civilizations, share a long, intricate, and multifaceted history that has evolved over thousands of years. Their interactions date back millennia, marked by periods of both cooperation and conflict, with each era adding layers of complexity to their relationship. Ancient trade routes, such as the Silk Road, served as vital conduits for the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture, facilitating a rich tapestry of interactions between the two civilizations. Buddhism, which originated in India around the 5th century BCE, spread to China along these trade routes, profoundly influencing Chinese philosophy, art, and culture. The travelogues of Chinese Buddhist monks, such as Faxian in the 4th century and Xuanzang in the 7th century, provide invaluable insights into ancient India, documenting their journeys and the cultural exchanges they witnessed. These early encounters fostered deep cultural and religious ties, laying the foundation for centuries of interaction and mutual influence. However, the geographical barriers posed by the towering Himalayas and the political complexities of the region also shaped the relationship, often limiting direct contact and fostering distinct cultural identities. The formidable obstacle of the Himalayas, with their snow-capped peaks and remote mountain villages, created natural boundaries that both separated and connected the two civilizations. Nevertheless, the allure of trade and the pursuit of knowledge transcended these barriers, leading to periodic exchanges that enriched both civilizations, as seen in the bustling marketplaces and the scholarly pursuits of ancient times. The arrival of European powers in Asia during the colonial era introduced new dynamics to India-China relations, as both nations found themselves grappling with the forces of imperialism. Both India and China experienced the yoke of imperialism, which profoundly impacted their political and economic trajectories, leaving lasting legacies that continue to influence their paths today. The shared experience of colonialism also fostered a sense of solidarity, as both nations sought to reclaim their sovereignty and rightful place on the world stage, leading to vibrant independence movements and anti-colonial protests. Following the end of World War II and the rise of the Cold War, India and China emerged as key players in the newly independent Asia, navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the time. Both countries played significant roles in the non-aligned movement, advocating for a multipolar world order free from superpower domination and seeking to chart an independent course in global affairs. However, lingering border disputes and ideological differences cast a long shadow over their relationship, leading to periods of tension and conflict that continue to shape their interactions to this day. The Silk Road, an extensive network of ancient trade routes, played a pivotal role in shaping the historical relationship between India and China, weaving a complex tapestry of commerce and culture that spanned centuries. This intricate network of interconnected routes, stretching across thousands of miles, facilitated not only the exchange of goods but also the flow of ideas, art and culture for over 15 centuries, creating a vibrant corridor of interaction. Luxurious silk, aromatic spices, exquisite porcelain and precious stones flowed eastward from China, enriching the markets and lives of those along the way. Meanwhile, from India, the finest cotton textiles, lustrous ivory and intricate textiles made their way westward, along with the profound spiritual teachings of Buddhism. Beyond the bustling commerce, the Silk Road served as a vital conduit for cultural diffusion and intellectual exchange, fostering a rich blend of traditions and knowledge. Buddhism, which originated in India, spread to China along these routes, profoundly influencing Chinese philosophy, art and architecture, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. Chinese Buddhist monks embarked on arduous journeys to India, seeking sacred texts and establishing monasteries that became centers of learning and cultural exchange. Their detailed travelogues provide invaluable insights into the societies, cultures, and intellectual pursuits they encountered along the way, offering a window into the past. The exchange of knowledge along the Silk Road extended far beyond religion, encompassing a wide array of intellectual and scientific disciplines. Indian advancements in mathematics, astronomy and medicine found their way to China, significantly influencing Chinese scientific thought and contributing to a shared intellectual heritage. Similarly, Chinese innovations in papermaking, printing and gunpowder eventually reached Europe via the Silk Road, transforming Western civilization and laying the groundwork for the Renaissance. The Silk Road, therefore, served as a vital artery for the transmission of knowledge and ideas, shaping the intellectual landscapes of both the East and the West and fostering a global exchange of wisdom. The decline of the Silk Road in the late Middle Ages, due to a combination of factors including political instability and the rise of maritime trade, marked a significant turning point in India-China relations, leading to a reduction in direct exchanges. As direct interactions became less frequent, the once thriving corridors of commerce and culture saw a gradual decline. However, the enduring legacy of the Silk Road left an indelible mark on the cultural and historical tapestry of both civilizations, a testament to the profound exchanges that once flourished. Today, the shared heritage of the Silk Road continues to inspire efforts to revive these ancient roots, fostering closer ties and renewed exchanges between India and China in the 21st century, as both nations seek to build on their rich historical connections. The long and intricate history of India-China relations has been punctuated by periods of cooperation and conflict, with border disputes casting a long and ominous shadow over their interactions. The majestic Himalayan mountains, serving as a formidable natural barrier between the two countries, have been a source of contention and strategic importance for centuries. Disagreements over the precise demarcation of the line of actual control, the de facto border, have led to numerous military clashes, heightened tensions, and a persistent atmosphere of deep-seated mistrust. The roots of these border disputes lie in the complex and often contentious history of the region, where ancient trade routes and historical claims intersect. The British Raj's attempts to define the border between British India and Tibet in the early 20th century, coupled with the subsequent independence of India in 1947 and the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949, created a legacy of overlapping claims and disputed territories that persist to this day. These disputes have flared up periodically, leading to military confrontations that have tested the limits of diplomacy, strained bilateral relations, and brought the two nuclear-armed neighbours to the brink of war. The 1962 Sino-Indian War, a defining moment in India-China relations, highlighted the volatility and unpredictability of the border dispute, resulting in a significant shift in the regional power dynamics. The war, triggered by a combination of factors including Chinese assertiveness, Indian strategic miscalculations, and a failure of diplomatic negotiations, resulted in a humiliating defeat for India and left a deep and lasting scar on the national psyche. The war also led to a protracted period of estrangement between the two countries, with diplomatic relations only being fully restored in 1993, marking a significant but cautious step towards normalization. Despite several rounds of high-level negotiations and confidence-building measures, the border dispute remains a major irritant in India-China relations, with both sides maintaining a heavy military presence along the contested frontier. Recent years have witnessed a resurgence of tensions, with military standoffs, accusations of incursions, and a significant build-up of forces along the line of actual control, reflecting the deep-seated strategic rivalry and mutual suspicion. The Doklam standoff in 2017 and the Galwan Valley clashes in 2020, resulting in casualties on both sides, highlighted the fragility of peace and the potential for miscalculation in this volatile and strategically critical region. The 1962 Sino-Indian War, a brief yet profoundly consequential conflict, left an indelible mark on the intricate and often tumultuous relationship between India and China. This war, ignited by a complex interplay of historical grievances, territorial ambitions, and geopolitical maneuvering, exposed the fragile nature of peace along the disputed Himalayan border and significantly influenced the strategic calculus of both nations for decades to come. The origins of this conflict can be traced back to the unresolved border disputes inherited from the colonial era, compounded by the shifting geopolitical dynamics of the Cold War, which saw both nations navigating a precarious balance of power. India, under the visionary yet idealistic leadership of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, had embraced a policy of non-alignment, striving to maintain amicable relations with both the Soviet Union and the United States, while fostering a sense of solidarity among newly independent nations. Conversely, China, under the revolutionary and often enigmatic leadership of Mao Zedong, viewed India's burgeoning influence in the region with deep suspicion, particularly in light of India's vocal support for Tibetan autonomy, which Beijing perceived as a direct challenge to its sovereignty. The construction of Indian outposts in the disputed territories, intended to fortify India's defensive posture, was interpreted by China as a provocative act of aggression, further exacerbating the already tense situation. The war itself was marked by a swift and decisive Chinese offensive, characterized by well-coordinated military maneuvers and overwhelming force. Chinese forces, better equipped and acclimatized to the harsh high-altitude terrain, quickly overwhelmed the ill-prepared Indian defenses, advancing deep into Indian territory with alarming speed and efficiency. The conflict, which lasted for a grueling month, culminated in a unilateral Chinese ceasefire and subsequent withdrawal from the captured territories, leaving a trail of devastation and a legacy of mistrust. India, caught off guard and outmaneuvered, suffered a humiliating defeat that starkly exposed its military vulnerabilities and political miscalculations, prompting a period of intense national introspection and strategic reassessment. The 1962 war had far-reaching and profound consequences for India-China relations, fundamentally altering the trajectory of their bilateral interactions. It shattered the idealistic illusion of Hindi Chini bye-bye, a slogan that had once encapsulated the hopeful spirit of early post-independence relations, replacing it with a pervasive sense of disillusionment and mistrust. The war ushered in a prolonged period of estrangement, with diplomatic relations being downgraded, trade ties severed, and a heightened sense of suspicion and animosity pervading the relationship. The conflict also cast a long and enduring shadow over India's strategic thinking, prompting a significant military build-up and a comprehensive reassessment of its defense posture, which continues to influence its policies to this day. Section 5. Economic interdependence, cooperation and competition. In the decades following the 1962 war, India and China embarked on divergent economic trajectories, each influenced by their unique political ideologies and socio-economic conditions. India, pursuing a socialist-inspired model of development under the leadership of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, focused on self-reliance and heavy industry. This approach led to moderate economic growth but was marred by persistent poverty and stark inequality. In contrast, China, under the transformative leadership of Deng Xiaoping, initiated sweeping market-oriented reforms in the late 1970s. These reforms catalyzed unprecedented economic growth, propelling China into the ranks of global economic powerhouses. Despite their contrasting economic models, the forces of globalization and their respective economic ascendance in the 21st century led to an increasing interconnection between India and China. Trade between India and China, which was negligible in the aftermath of the 1962 war, witnessed exponential growth in the 21st century, driven by mutual economic interests and the global trade environment. China emerged as India's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade volumes exceeding $100 billion annually, underscoring the deep economic ties that had developed between the two nations. India's burgeoning information technology sector found a vast and lucrative market in China, benefiting from the demand for software services and IT solutions. Conversely, Chinese companies capitalized on the growing consumer base in India, exporting a wide array of manufactured goods from electronics to machinery, thereby solidifying their presence in the Indian market. This burgeoning economic interdependence, however, was not without its challenges and complexities. India faced a significant trade deficit with China, importing far more than it exported, which raised concerns about economic imbalance and dependency. Indian industries, particularly in the manufacturing sector, struggled to compete with the influx of cheaper Chinese imports, leading to fears of deindustrialization and job losses in key sectors. The COVID-19 pandemic, which severely disrupted global supply chains, starkly highlighted India's dependence on Chinese imports for critical goods, ranging from pharmaceuticals to electronics. This realization prompted calls within India for greater self-reliance, the diversification of trade partners, and the strengthening of domestic manufacturing capabilities. Despite these challenges, economic engagement between India and China continued to expand, driven by mutual benefits and the potential for growth in various sectors. Chinese companies invested heavily in Indian startups and infrastructure projects, recognizing the potential for high returns and strategic partnerships. Meanwhile, Indian companies explored opportunities in the vast Chinese market, seeking to tap into the growing consumer base and the demand for diverse products and services. However, this economic interdependence was tempered by underlying strategic competition and geopolitical tensions. China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project aimed at enhancing global connectivity, was viewed with suspicion by India, which perceived it as an attempt to expand Chinese influence in its strategic backyard. This strategic rivalry, coupled with historical mistrust, added layers of complexity to the economic relationship, necessitating careful navigation by both nations to balance cooperation with competition. Section 6. Geopolitical rivalry, a multipolar chessboard. The meteoric rise of China as a formidable global power in the 21st century has introduced a myriad of new complexities into the intricate web of India-China relations. China's burgeoning economic prowess and military capabilities, coupled with its assertive and sometimes aggressive foreign policy, have been met with a complex blend of admiration, apprehension and rivalry in India. The two Asian giants, once content to coexist as regional powers with a tacit understanding, now find themselves in a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, vying for influence on the global stage. Their relationship is characterized by a multifaceted interplay of cooperation, competition, and strategic mistrust. China's expanding footprint in South Asia, a region traditionally considered India's sphere of influence, has been a particular source of concern and strategic anxiety for New Delhi. Beijing's substantial investments in ports, roads and energy projects in countries like Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Nepal are often viewed through the lens of strategic encirclement by some in India, adding layers of complexity to the regional dynamics. China's close and multifaceted relationship with Pakistan, India's arch rival, further complicates the already intricate geopolitical equation, adding a dimension of strategic depth to the rivalry. The competition between India and China extends well beyond the confines of South Asia, encompassing the broader Indo-Pacific region and even reaching into the far corners of the globe. Both countries are actively seeking to expand their diplomatic, economic and military influence in Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Africa and beyond, each move calculated to outmaneuver the other on the global chessboard. This competition has manifested in a race for strategic partnerships, massive investments in infrastructure and concerted efforts to shape the regional security architecture to their respective advantages. The geopolitical rivalry between India and China is further complicated by their respective alliances and partnerships, each seeking to bolster their strategic positions. India, traditionally adhering to a policy of non-alignment, has in recent years deepened its strategic partnership with the United States, driven by shared concerns about China's growing assertiveness and its implications for regional stability. China, on the other hand, has strengthened its ties with Russia, forming a strategic counterweight to the US-led world order, thereby adding another layer of complexity to the global geopolitical landscape. Section 7. Shared challenges. Climate change and beyond. Beyond the realm of geopolitics and economics, India and China face a multitude of shared challenges that necessitate close cooperation and mutual understanding. Climate change, often described as a global threat multiplier, poses existential risks to both nations. It demands coordinated action to mitigate its far-reaching impacts and adapt to an ever-changing environment. From the rapid melting of glaciers in the majestic Himalayas to the rising sea levels that threaten the bustling coastal cities, the consequences of climate change transcend national borders. This shared threat requires collective action and innovative solutions. Water security, a critical issue for both India and China, is intricately linked to the broader challenges posed by climate change. The availability and quality of water resources are under increasing pressure. The Himalayan glaciers, often referred to as the water towers of Asia, feed major rivers that sustain billions of people in both countries. These glaciers are a lifeline, providing essential water resources for agriculture, drinking, and industry. Changes in precipitation patterns, accelerated glacial melt, and increased water demand due to population growth and economic development have heightened the urgency of transboundary water cooperation. Effective management of these resources is crucial for regional stability. Pandemics, as starkly demonstrated by the COVID-19 pandemic, pose a significant threat to global health security and economic stability. The interconnectedness of our world means that infectious diseases can spread rapidly across borders. India and China, with their vast populations and deeply interconnected economies, are particularly vulnerable to the spread of infectious diseases. The health of their citizens and the stability of their economies are at stake. Cooperation in public health initiatives, early warning systems and vaccine development is essential to prevent and respond effectively to future pandemics. Collaborative efforts can enhance resilience and preparedness. Beyond these immediate challenges, India and China share a profound interest in promoting global peace and stability. They are committed to reforming multilateral institutions and shaping a more equitable and just world order. As major emerging economies and influential voices in international foray, India and China have the potential to work together to address global challenges and advance shared interests. Their collaboration can pave the way for a sustainable and prosperous future for all. Section 8, The Path Forward, Diplomacy and Dialogue. The future trajectory of India-China relations will depend on the strategic choices and diplomatic maneuvers both countries make in the years to come. The potential for cooperation and conflict coexists, creating a multifaceted and dynamic relationship that requires careful navigation. While historical baggage, unresolved border disputes, and geopolitical rivalry will continue to pose significant challenges, there are also numerous opportunities for cooperation based on shared interests and the mutual recognition that a stable and prosperous Asia necessitates a modus vivendi between its two largest nations. Diplomacy, dialogue, and mutual understanding will be essential to navigate this intricate and complex relationship. Sustained engagement at various levels, from the highest echelons of leadership down to working-level officials, is crucial to build trust, address concerns, and explore avenues for cooperation. Confidence-building measures, such as military-to-military exchanges and joint exercises, can help reduce the risk of miscalculation and prevent incidents along the border from escalating into larger conflicts. Economic interdependence, while presenting its own set of challenges, also offers numerous opportunities for win-win cooperation. Expanding trade and investment, addressing the trade imbalance, and fostering greater market access can benefit both economies, creating a more balanced and mutually beneficial economic relationship. Collaboration in areas like infrastructure development, renewable energy, and technology can unlock mutual benefits and contribute to sustainable development, enhancing the quality of life for millions. People-to-people contacts, often overlooked in the midst of geopolitical tensions, play a vital role in fostering understanding, goodwill, and cultural exchange. Exchanges in education, culture, tourism, and sports can help bridge the cultural gap, promote dialogue, and create constituencies for peace and cooperation, laying the groundwork for a more harmonious future. Section 9. Conclusion towards a stable and prosperous future. The relationship between India and China, marked by a rich tapestry of shared history, vibrant cultural exchanges and enduring rivalry, stands at a pivotal juncture in their long and storied histories. The decisions and actions they undertake in the coming years will have profound and far-reaching implications, not only for their own national destinies, but also for the broader future of Asia and the entire world. Navigating this intricate and multifaceted relationship will require exceptional statesmanship, pragmatic approaches, and a shared vision that prioritizes peace and prosperity for both nations. The path forward lies in wholeheartedly embracing a spirit of cooperation, while simultaneously acknowledging and adeptly managing their differences. Diplomacy, open dialogue, and mutual understanding must form the bedrock of all interactions between these two great nations. By addressing historical grievances, resolving long-standing border disputes, and building a foundation of trust, India and China can create an environment conducive to meaningful cooperation. Economic interdependence, while presenting its own set of challenges, also offers a plethora of opportunities for mutually beneficial collaboration and growth. By harnessing their complementary strengths, fostering a culture of innovation, and promoting sustainable development initiatives, India and China can pave the way for a more prosperous future for their citizens and the global community. The world watches with bated breath as these two Asian giants chart their course, aware that their choices will shape the geopolitical landscape for generations to come. The stakes are incredibly high, and the challenges they face are numerous and complex. Yet, the potential rewards of a stable, cooperative, and harmonious relationship between India and China are immense, offering a beacon of hope for a more peaceful, prosperous, and interconnected future for all of humanity. Thank you for watching Learning Life content. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories.